Alright everybody, how we doing today? So I've changed my upload time to a later time. Necessary due to household complications. Anyway, this is from Ruptly, and it says... unfriendly and unjustified. Moscow slams Germany's decision to expel 2 Russian diplomats. Promises to retaliate. I'm always covering foreign politics because I believe it's important to know what's really going on in the world, not just within the confines of the United States or North America. But the expulsion of Russian diplomats by Germany is an unfriendly and unjustified move. The Russian Foreign Ministry believe it promised to respond in kind. The German government earlier announced it in order to, if it ordered 2 employees of the Russian embassy in Berlin to leave the country. It said it was meant to show that the Berlin was unhappy with Moscow's response to a German investigation into a high-profile killing of a Georgian man, which happened on its soil in August. Berlin said Russia was not doing enough to assist the probe. Responding to the news on Wednesday, the Russian Foreign Ministry said it considered the German move unjustified and unfriendly, and that it has demonstrated an unacceptable politicized approach to the investigation. We are forced to implement an array of retaliatory measures. Russian Ambassador to Germany Sergei Nachayev released a similarly worded statement and exposed his disappointment with Berlin's handling of the situation. He said it will result in a most negative effect on the Russian-German relationship. There is and there has never been any evidence that Russian government structures have anything to do with the incident, he said. The victim in the murder investigation, who is identified as Torniki K., was shot in Berlin Tiergarten Park. German authorities allege that the crime may be tied to the officials in the Russian government or in Russia's Chechen Republic. Tiergarten, animal garden, roughly speaking. I do speak some fine German. Well, look. While Germany's response to the situation might have been disproportionate to the actual event itself, they were absolutely right to want to investigate something that happened on their soil and to show a certain amount of disgruntled feelings towards Russia for not being sufficiently cooperative in the investigation. To me, it seems perfectly reasonable that they should take issue with that. Russia, while not the boogeyman people make it out to be, it is no surprise to anyone that the Putin administration is very, very corrupt, and Putin himself is a very frightening man. Not necessarily because he himself is particularly corrupt, but he is extremely dangerous, and to me it seems like violence is not as repugnant to him as it is as to someone like me. Which I would say, at least in my personal political theory, that the highest of political values is diplomacy and the lowest is violence. I think violence is low, miserable, and beneath someone who's truly ethical. But I guess Putin, considering how he handles criminals and law enforcement in Russia, is not of a similar incline. So has Russia mishandled the situation? Yeah, I would say probably. I'm not saying definitely, but they probably did. And did Germany overreact? Yeah, I would say they probably did. No one on this is on the right side of it. Not even. But German media report that the man was Zelimkhan Kongoshvili, a Georgian national of Chechen origin, who may have been involved with the Chechen insurgency in the 2000s. He was allegedly a supporter of terrorist leader Shamil Basayev, and the leader of a 60-strong militant group back in the day. Moscow effectively lost control of the southern Russian region in the 1990s, which allowed warlords and international terrorists to establish a power base there. A large incursion of jihadists into neighboring Dagestan in 1999 triggered a renewal of hostilities, which ended with forces loyal to the Russian government prevailing in Chechnya. Gangashvili's reported paramilitary career continued into 2012, when he is said to have assisted a Georgian operation against his former comrades, whom he had lured out of Austria and into Georgian territory, according to Bild. The man survived four assassination attempts before leaving his home country and getting asylum in Germany. Either way, there's been a murder on German soil. And to suspect, or at least place the Russian government on a list of suspects, does not seem, in the context of the situation, completely unreasonable. But to place automatic blame would be pretty unreasonable. The fact that the Russian government is not being particularly helpful in the investigation, I find a little suspicious. But I will reserve my judgment until more information comes forward. But, as we've seen it throughout German history, the Germans always overreact and make a bigger deal out of things than they need to. Hence, 2 world wars. But aside from that, no one in this situation is truly in the right. Not a single one. Anyway, that's what I have to say about that. Russia's not a boogeyman, but they do have certain suspicious things happening around them. That Putin administration is pretty dirty. But it most likely had nothing to do with the 2016 election here in the United States. Stop with that bullshit. Find something real to complain about instead of making up fake shit about Trump. Oh, but they've moved on to Ukraine now, right? People. People are petty. People are stupid. I imagine some of you subscribers and people down in the comment section can be petty and stupid sometimes. Am I right? If you're any kind of person at all, you'll own up to it. If you're a really good person, not only will you own up to it, you'll do something about it. Anyway, peace.